So hey guys, and welcome back to another Axel 72 video, and I'm back with another interview, and I'm here with Joe Hayden. How are you, Joe?
I'm alright, thank you, mate. How are you?
I am great. I very much appreciate you doing this, mate.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Great. And so I couldn't find the information for how old you are and what weight category you were in, so I thought we'd start with just them two.
I'm 22 years old, mate, and currently boxing welterweight.
All right.
So 10 stone 7, yeah.
And so I did find out you are 2-0 though.
2-0 just recently, Friday just gone. Turned 2-0.
Oh, great. Okay. And so if you're on your auntie and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like video, and let's get straight into it. So I'm going to start with a question which I always like to start off with, and that is, who inspired you to get into boxing?
It's a good question, really, because it's not something that I've ever really thought about. And I don't, to be honest with you, my honest answer is I don't really think I've got anyone that has inspired me to inspire me to get into boxing. I think I just did it, just boxed off my own back, really, and then just fell in love with it that way. And then through falling in love with boxing, that's when I've then started to watch boxing more, and then started to get to know more professional fighters. But initially, I think it was just the training and that side of it what made me get into boxing.
So you said that you now kind of look up to certain fighters. Is there any fighters which you look up to now?
Yeah, there's certain fighters that I watch. Mainly, like, I'm obviously being southpaw myself. I like to watch other southpaws. So the likes of Errol Spence Jr. I like to watch. Billy Joe Saunders as well, and Alexander Usyk. I like to watch a lot of Usyk as well. I like the movements that Usyk does, and mainly fighters like that. Really, your good technical southpaws.
And that kind of does that kind of describe you as a fighter as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I try to box like. I do think that's my main. That's like my main style of boxing. Really, I'm a good technical fighter, and yeah, I like to watch the other fighters who not who I remind myself of, but who I try to copy, if you like. And yeah, like your Errol Spence Juniors, very good technical boxers, and no, yeah, I do like to watch that sort of style.
Great. And so, going right back to the very start, from what I heard, you were an ex-semi-pro footballer.
Yeah, I played football all my life, really, from being literally a little kid. Probably started about 3 years old and played all my life. Yeah, I started playing semi-pro football at 16 years old. I think I was the youngest ever player to play for this side, and yeah, and boxing were always my second sport growing up. I'd always play football, and in the off season, I'd go to the boxing gym and keep fit and do it that way. But then when I think I was 18 years old, I had a bad injury and just
Right.
I could never get my head back into it. Really, it affected me too much. Just worried of getting injured, and it just weren't for me anymore. So I thought, because I like to keep fit, I like to stay busy. I took myself back down to the boxing gym, and since then I've never looked back, really.
Great. And so you went down the amateur route like most fighters do. And so, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
Yeah, I remember my first amateur fight. I just remember being absolutely knackered. 30 seconds in, thinking to myself, I thought I was fit, and I'm thinking I'm fit. Why can't I breathe? Why do I feel like my legs aren't under me? I feel like I'm underwater, punching underwater. It were horrendous. But no, my first amateur fight, it was at my old amateur gym before I met Dave, and I was training 3 times a week, which is nothing compared to what I do now with Dave, and I weren't taking it serious either. I was still going out drinking every weekend with mates, still doing all that stuff, and yeah, obviously that's the big difference. The commitment is the massive difference in the levels of fitness and stuff like that. But no, I just remember it being really hard.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of like that. You've summed it up there. Really, it is just a fact of you get better when you get more committed to it and get a more of a want to actually put your effort in fully.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as you make them, they're only the little tweaks, but they play such a big part in everything you do in boxing. Like cutting the drink out, cutting the crap food out, cutting the late nights out, doing all this and upping the training. The improvements they double.
Definitely. And so, what was your biggest achievement in the amateurs?
Um, Nothing really. As I'll be as honest as possible. Yeah, nothing. I've obviously, I had my first amateur bout when I had a skills bout when I was 12 years old, and then obviously I stopped, and then I had my first amateur bout when I was 18, and obviously lost that, and then I went and trained with Dave, and I went. I think I had 4 fights with Dave, won all 4 fights, but then it got to the stage where it was hard because it's like I was trying to build a social media following, whilst at the same time it was hard because putting all the footage out on social media, people could see it, and it made people, without obviously sounding big-headed, think twice about wanting to fight me and stuff like that, and so I started to struggle to get fights, and I got offered a Yorkshire title fight, which I took, and then that ended up getting pulled as well. So then that's when Dave thought, we'll make the decision and we'll turn straight over pro, because it was getting frustrating really with amateurs. We also had 4 or 5 pullouts in a row, so it just got to the stage where we were like, we might as well turn pro.
Yeah, I've heard a few similar things of the fact of it is just hard to get fights sometimes in the amateurs, just on the fact of like people go to the amateurs to get the easy fights to work their way up, and they don't want to just get jumped in straight with somebody really difficult.
Yeah, no, that's it. And obviously, with me being a novice, I would have been fighting other novices. Obviously, I weren't at the level where I was boxing all these top amateurs, so it was hard to get fights because obviously I was a novice, but you could say that I wasn't your standard novice. I was still training. I was training like a full-time professional whilst being a novice amateur boxer. So obviously that had a massive advantage. That was my big advantage. Sorry. So yeah, but it worked out well in the end. Obviously, we've turned pro and had a good start to my pro career. So everything happens for a reason, I believe.
Definitely. And so you've now turned pro, and you've had a couple pro fights. So this question should apply now, and that is, what differences, if you have any at all, are there between the amateurs and the pros?
I guess the main difference with the amateurs and the pros is your camps. Not that I don't do camps personally, because we're just always in the gym anyway. We're just always training, so camps aren't really a thing for me. But the difference is, I guess, you get your fights in advance. So obviously you'll find out you've got a fight in 8 weeks' time, so you've got 8 weeks to prepare for this fight, and you know who you're fighting. So you've got 8 weeks to prepare for this certain fighter, and you can watch, you can research, you can do everything you want to do, and you can prepare for this one fighter. Whereas in the amateurs, it was you're just in the gym all the time, training all the time. When the phone rings, it rings. You could be fighting tomorrow. Could ring today and say, "Oh, Dave got a fight for Joe tomorrow. Is he taking it?" And then that's that. So I guess that's the main difference, really. Training wise, everything's still the same. Like I said, when I was amateur, I still trained like a full-time professional. So nothing much has changed for me apart from the fighting aspect, really.
Definitely. And so you've now gone on to have your first 2 pro fights, and I was wondering how tough, or I suppose even how easy, was your last pro fight?
The fight just gone on Friday night. I found it really easy, to be honest with you. I feel like I boxed really well. I didn't get it. No, I feel like I cope with the pressures of fighting and fighting in front of crowds and stuff like that. I feel like I cope with it quite well, which surprised me really. But the way I see it is, obviously, with all the hard work that I put in the gym every day, it's just I know that this is what I train for, so I don't feel like I should be massively nervous and absolutely come leading up to fights, because this is what I train for. This is what I'm training to do. So I'm more excited than anything really. Like, I put all the hard work in, and that's my end goal is to then go and fight. So it's just about converting what I do in the ring and in the gym and taking it into a fight.
Definitely. And so, I mean, you only just fought on Friday, so is there anything in particular you do when you're not got a straight tunnel vision for a next fight? Is it just kind of relaxing a little bit more, or is there anything you've got planned?
It's pretty much the same, really. Like I said, I don't really do camps because we're just constantly in the gym. So where some fighters, when they haven't got a fight coming up, they'll chill out, they'll relax a bit, and then when they get a fight announcement, then they'll go into camp and they'll start hitting it hard. But no, for us, really, with me and Dave, I'm in the gym every day anyway, training twice a day every day. So we're just constantly ticking over, and then when the fight announcement does get made, then we'll maybe pick the pace up a little bit and then start. But then I'm always on weight. I'm always fit. I'm always sharp. So I'm ready to go whenever, really.
No, I respect that because you've got, I suppose, a focused mindset of just focusing on boxing. I know there's quite a few fighters that will just blow up in weight a lot in between fights and go on holiday and stuff like that, and just really go a bit mental with it, and then struggle to come back down to reality when they have to fight again.
Yeah, definitely. And I think personally, all it does is it just makes it harder for yourself when you come back to it. Like I don't want to. I don't want to go outside of the gym and put all this weight on and pile up and then come back to the gym and feel terrible and then struggle to get the weight off. I want to come back and I want to feel just as fit as I was before I left. And it's not like a camp life or whatever that for me. It's a lifestyle for me. So Dave's giving me the next couple of days off to chill out, and he says to me, "Don't do a thing, just chill out and enjoy your rest, eat what you want and stuff like that." But I'm still on plan. I've woke up and I'm chuffing had oats for my breakfast. Yeah. I've just had my look. I've just been on a 6-mile walk. But he said, "Don't do a thing, chill out, don't do anything." I was sat in bed like, "Fuck me, what did I do? What did I do?" I thought I'd take myself on a walk. So I've just done a 6-mile walk, got back, and I've just had my chuffing, my chicken and rice. So I'm still on plan. So I've been given a free pass to go and do what I want, chill out, eat what I want, but. It's not what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to stay fit. I want to keep in shape, and I want to stay on weight, and I want to eat well. And it's a lifestyle for me, really. It's not just a camp thing when I've got a fight coming up. For me, this is my life.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I mean, you said a little bit there. It's like you got told you can go and do what you want, but that is what you want to do. It's like you want to stay active, and it's a great mindset. I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't have that mindset, so it's a great thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. It's nice to be able to go and enjoy myself, but at the same time, it plays such a big part. Yeah, mentally as well for me. If I'm not on weight, or I feel a bit like I've put a bit of weight on, or I'm eating rubbish, I just don't feel myself. I feel myself, and I feel my best when I am on plan, eating well. I wouldn't even call it a plan because it's just an everyday thing for me now. I just eat the same foods every day. I just enjoy it, and then I'll have maybe a Friday or a Saturday, I'll have an off-plan meal, and that's my enjoyment. Dieting all week and then having my off-plan meal on a Friday or a Saturday. That's where I get my enjoyment from. So yeah, but yeah, it affects me mentally massively when I'm not on it with the training or with the diet and stuff, and just to keep me sane, really, I stick on plan.
Definitely. And so you've just had a fight now, but have you got a possible date for when you might be back?
I've got 2 dates for when I'm back. Boxing twice in October.
Wow.
Hopefully the 8th of October, and then later on towards the end of October should hopefully be boxing twice, one away and one local.
So you're trying to stay very active then?
I want to be busy. I want to have at least another 5 or 6 fights before the end of the year. So
wow.
But this is what I mean about staying active and staying on plan and stuff like that. This is why I do it, so I can be as busy as possible with the fights as well, because if I didn't stay on plan and if I went away and these next few days I've got off, if I went and banged a load of weight on and stuff like that, then I'd have to hold back my next fight to then get back in shape. Whereas if I come back in shape, I can fight again whenever.
And I suppose you're making up for lost time in the amateurs, not getting many fights in the amateurs, to now you can get all the fights you want to fight loads.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. That's the thing. It's like, with a lack of experience, I'm making up for lost time, really, like you say, and I'm learning on the job as well at the same time. And this is why I want to be as busy as possible, because I want to be up there with all these top British boxers. I feel like I belong up there with them. So for me to be up there, I need to work as hard as I possibly can and put in all this work. Otherwise, I'm not going to get there based off experience. So I'm working as hard as I can, and I want to be as busy as I can to get that experience, to put me where I feel like I belong.
Definitely. And so, with your last fight just a few days ago, was there a big turnout for you?
It were on 4 days' notice, the fight. So I only did about 30. I think I had about 30 people come down, which 4 days' notice isn't too bad. But nah, when my next fight, when it's local, hopefully get a big turnout.
Definitely. And so this kind of leads into my next question, and that being, why should people come and watch you? What can they expect when they come and watch you? Just
expect a good boxing performance. I'm I feel like personally I'm a good technical boxer. It's nice. It's nice on the eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to watch. It's a good technical performance to see. And no, I feel like I'm going to go far. I really do. And I think I put too much work in, and I worked too hard to not go far, to fail. So no, I do. I feel like it's going to be a good journey, to be honest.
Definitely, and I suppose the good on the eye thing, I totally agree with. I mean, when I've watched people like Alexander Usyk, somebody like that, he is just so technically gifted, and it makes the fighter like really good. Like, you don't have to always have the knockouts and always have the flashy one hit punches to land. If you're technically more advanced than the other guy, you'll win every time.
Yeah, definitely, and I feel like I hope that's what people begin to think when they start to watch me over time, as I start to improve and I gain experience, and I get a lot more confident and start getting a lot more work off. That people watch me and they think he's a good boxer. But that's what I want to be known as. I want to be known as a good boxer, good technical fighter.
Great. And so you spoke a little bit about that you think you're going to go far in the sport, and I was wondering, how far do you believe you can go in the sport?
This is the exciting thing, I guess, because we don't know at the minute. Like, with me and Dave, we don't know where we can end up. Obviously, the British title is a massive goal at the minute, and hopefully one day in a few years' time we'll be boxing for British titles. But then, as soon as we've got the British title ticked off the list, then who knows what the next step is? Just I guess the goal at the minute is just to keep winning and keep building myself up, and then and we go from there. So it's small steps at a time, and yeah, we don't know, but hopefully we believe that it's going to be a good career, hopefully.
Definitely. And so this next question is quite a fun question, but I always like to ask it. So obviously you're at the start of your career, so I mean you're not really going to be fighting anybody of like too mad a note. But if you could say a dream opponent, like in any kind of stature, even if it's like a world title opponent right now that you would fight right now, and who would you pick?
It's a tough one, really, because it's never crossed my mind like a dream fight or anything like that. I guess with the fighting mentality, I say any fight that come up, I'd take any fight, really. I've never really thought about potential opponents or dream opponents, let's say, but I guess you'd have to go for the money fights, wouldn't you? For to set you up financially, so you got your McGregors and your Mayweathers. they'd be good big fights, wouldn't they? But yeah, it's not really something that's ever crossed my mind.
Yeah, possible Jake Paul fight.
Jake Paul, a big lad, like he'd have to lose a lot of weight to come down and fight me. But no, definitely, if the money's right, you'd have to take it, wouldn't you?
Definitely. Okay, and so I'll leave with this final question. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Just shout out to my team, really. All the boys, Liam, Calvin, Oliver, both at Slinny's, young Harry and JJ, and Laura, my coach. Obviously Dave. Massive shout out to Dave. Without Dave, none of this would be possible. No one would have a clue who I was, and I wouldn't be sat here doing this interview with you. So yeah, just shout out to all my team, really.
Great. Okay, and so thank you very much for doing this interview, mate.
No, thank you for having me on, mate.
Great, and I'm sure when you are fighting for these British belts, we can maybe come and do a return interview.
Definitely, 100%.
Great, okay, and so if you're new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and thanks for watching.